Hey everybody, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. Just another quick reminder for anyone ever replacing big wheel bearings, front rear wheel bearings on cars. This in specific is the Prados and the Hiluxes. Just wanted to say, so these are the Hilux hubs. In case you missed the other videos, there is playlists on our YouTube channel. Go and have a look at the playlist. You'll see the ones about the front hubs bearings with all the information you need to know. The bearings are different, the hubs are different. Technically, the seals and other bits and pieces can be different, but they can be the same. We choose the best, if you know what I mean, whether it's Prado or Hilux, and that's what we use on everything for those parts that we can do that. But we're doing something else at the moment I wanted to tell you about just quickly. Firstly, I just want to remind everyone, these are brand new, genuine hubs. The Hilux one's coated in this icky, sticky stuff. There's a technical name for it. Someone can put it in the comments. I'm sure there's a few different names. But I'm not into being technical on things that don't matter. I clean basically from there in where the bearing's going to go like new. This I'm not worried about. It gives you, still got a coating, so it gives you a bit of rust protection. When you install it, you do need to just check that the spines are clear and clean. You might need to sit it this way, spray some brake cleaner and get a toothbrush and just clean the spines out there. Make sure nothing goes into this bearing like this. Just down the hole in the middle, yeah? And it's just gonna come out the other end here. Let's just have a quick look at it. Not much to see here. You could do it the other way around. You can stand it like this, sit it on a rag, whatever. It's nowhere near the bearing, and spray it down here. But you know what? I actually like the coating in here. I like the coating out here. That's why I don't clean the whole thing. It's just in the splines. You can just get a rag, get in there, get a toothbrush. Just make sure that's clear, because there's been some issues with people changing the bearings over the time that what happens sometimes, they don't clean that properly, and they're actually torquing the resistance of the spline of the drive shaft going into the hub here rather than the preload on the bearing, if you know what I mean. Now, the other one that people have made a mistake on, this here on the Hilux, this does not have an ABS sensor in it like the Prado bearing. This is where there's some things that are different. There's a couple of physical, mechanical spaces or ABS sensors that go on here. Now I say and or because the early ones that don't have ABS, they've got a spacer ring and then another, we'll just call it 2 spaces. So if that's your vehicle, you need to gently remove those as per those videos in the hub bearing playlist and recycle those. They're quite expensive. So as things have gone up in price, we've managed to keep these about the same price by recycling those. They're easier to get off. Just gently tap them back on. Just watch the video first. Don't forget though, because if you put it like this, you're going to have problems. You won't be preloading the bearing. As soon as you go down the road around the first roundabout, you'll have no brakes. Your wheel will be sideways. There'll be all sorts of damage and whatever going on. So don't let that happen. So clean it. Don't forget your 2 spaces. However yours comes off, that's how it needs to go back on again. And the last thing, we are getting some of these hubs back. You don't need to keep your hubs. They're not changeovers. We use new ones for all the reasons we talk about. But there has been some that we've got back that the bolts look pretty good. Now the bolts, same thing, they're going up like everything else. So we're recycling some of the bolts, right? So when you see, it's going to be mainly on the Hilux hubs. So the Prado ones will still have new bolts. There's no issue with reusing these bolts. There's an issue with reusing these. Another good reason to replace with new hubs, besides the clean surface for the seal just in there, that's not rusted and corroded away, is these bolts, because people over tighten them. They go sick with their rattle gun, mate. Sick, mate. They stretch these bolts, so these can either snap off, just the same as if you don't torque them correctly, you can lose wheel nuts, or they can come loose one by one. You can lose the odd one. They can come loose evenly and wheels can come off. So make sure you torque these. About 110 Newton meters. There's some different torque specs depending which Prado, but it's all the same hub. So it's a bit weird that they do that. So I'll say about 110, no more than 120. I'd say 110 to 120 is your range. I think I've seen 108 and 113 on some different spec sheets, but so thereabouts, right? It's not going to matter too much. You want to be above 100, below 120 Newton meters, and don't stretch these. Then you probably, if you look after these, next time as the vehicle gets older in another 10 years or 200,000 Ks, we might even be reusing these hubs by then. It just depends on the condition, but just reusing the bolts. You can see this one looks almost like new. We check all the threads, we check all the heads, it's all good, genuine bolts. This one's a bit dirty, but it makes no difference, okay? So nothing wrong with it. They're about $4, $5 each, so, you know, saves another 20 bucks. So instead of another price rise, bada bing, you might find 1 or 2 or none recycled bolts, but I just want to let you know what we're doing so you don't get any surprises. for the people that haven't seen the other videos that are going, what's all this, what's the silicon there, or, you know, that's untidy, whatever the case may be. Well, maybe you're right about that. I mean, generally I do a pretty good job on that, but I'll tell you why we do that, right? Because the ones we've stripped down, we only see a slight leak at the back here, so there might be a bit of corrosion on the back here, and the O-ring might be dirty, but we don't see moisture getting to the back of the bearing from here, right, in this way. We don't see it getting in any other way at the back. We don't see it getting in at the front here past this hubcap. Genuine hubs, genuine hubcaps, right? Beautiful, they're expensive, don't wreck them. Watch all the other videos before you have a go at this. And if you want some hubs, Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. is the time to text me. If you're in Australia, we send them all across Australia. Mainly the Prado ones, you know. I've said it before in other videos. I'm not trying to sell you hubs really, because I actually hate cleaning this coating off on the back. I don't hate many things. That's something I really hate. I do hate it. Yeah, I can say I hate that. Hubs are going to get their feelings hurt. No, I can actually say that. So cleaning all this off here, sometimes really lumpy build up around here. It's a real pain. You've got to scrape it and then you've got to use your brake. It's a real pain. Anyway, so point is, Monday morning, bada bing, we can get you these new hubs out. Express post if you like. But the reason for this is, so if we don't see any water coming in there at all whatsoever, unless someone's damaged the cap, and we don't see any at the back, and we see a bit of rust in the bearings sometimes, depends which vehicles, and I'm looking at this seal here where it meets the hub there, right? And I don't see anything behind that hub most of the time. Sometimes I do, so that's where it's getting sometimes past that seal. All depends how much mud. Remember, mud equals money. This is what we talk about. But this is metal. It is machined underneath there, but it's metal over metal. It presses over, but in my opinion, that was the least best sealed out of all of it. I'm not saying it's bad, but by putting this here, it may help. It certainly doesn't hurt. So if it doesn't help, then that's fine. But I've done it, and I guarantee you that's 100% sealed now, the way we do that on these. I try, like I said, I try and do a neat job. I try not, look at that, it's pretty Mickey Mouse, isn't it? I mean, I've been doing it about 10 years. This works. So that's what we do. That's our little upgrade. Like I said, keep an eye out for some recycled bolts. So I'm just letting you know so you don't not expect it if you are purchasing the hubs. And if you want more info, again, that playlist, I think it's called Hubs and Bearings, something like that. Lots of info in there for you. Don't forget those few things, particularly on the Hilux. The Prados are even more straightforward. Look, the hubs are clean, but some of the components are a bit dearer. It doesn't really matter. It all works out about right anyway. So catch you on Monday mornings at 7:30 a.m. with that text message if you want a pair. If the other tip I'll just add in there, I suppose, if you notice a bit of play in one of them, there's no point replacing one, because if one's gone, it's, you know, the other one's going to be right with it. It's had the same treatment, the same punishment. So you replace them as pairs, but look, I can send you one if you really want. And if you want to save some money, you can actually ask for recycled hubs. If we've got some at the time, you know, we can put it together. It'll be more delayed, where these are on the shelf ready to go. Same day, next day, if you text me on the right day. It'll be a matter of I've got to grab some hubs, I've got to grab some bearings. I'm not going to have those parts sitting in stock waiting to do that, because we did that years ago. Most people went for this, but I know a lot of people, you know, finding it a little bit harder with the bills and stuff like that, with interest rates and the cost, you know, the out of control. I'm not going to use those words, you know, that where the price goes up. Anyway, we're trying to keep ours the same. These have gone up bugger all in the 10 years we've been doing them, so that's good. And we've got options there for people that need options. Certainly we're going to recycle the bolts, new O-rings, although you could probably reuse those sometimes. Definitely new seals, and comes with the other seal that goes on the back as well. For those that always text me and ask, the seal that goes at the back here, behind the steering knuckle, it's all included. It's very expensive, don't damage it. And there's heaps of videos showing you how to DIY install it. So yeah, I think that pretty well wraps it up. If you want, subscribe, turn the bell on. It's not really just about Prado and Hilux hubs. This information that I'm giving you is universal to other makes and models to get you thinking outside the square. It's all part of your training. It's another piece, one piece of the million-piece jigsaw puzzle. I've got quite a few 100,000 to go, but each video's got a number of pieces for that million-piece jigsaw puzzle. And once we get to 1 million, we'll just pump it out to 2 million, 3 million, whatever. So the plan is a video a day. But if we run out of videos, that gives you an opportunity to go and find one of our old videos and watch that, or get into the playlists, or even watch a number of those videos, so that you can really get yourself educated. There's a bit of waffle every now and then, like what's happening now, but it's waffle that only the wise listen to. The wise people become very smart, very educated, and then they can diagnose their problems, work on their vehicles, do the repairs, save themselves money, teach other people, friends and family, the same things, So people have got a bit of common sense back again, rather than just no idea, drive till it fails, deal with the big headache and the tow truck, the unreliability, and then the massive costs and the time waiting to get it repaired. So if you want to avoid all that, subscribe, turn the bell on, and we'll catch you on the next video. Alrighty, see ya.